Sextortion has become a widespread issue. Initially, we started discussing Nigeria as one of the capitals for this heinous crime. Today, we go far east. We go to Asia to unravel an 8-building complex, 1,000 people operation of scammers in the middle of nowhere. Welcome to Digital Defenders. My name, as usual, is Milo Brooks. Today with me, Steve Gutierrez from the Analyst Lab. Steve Gutierrez, scammer specialist. He's been with digital forensics for 1 year and caught more than 200 criminals. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Steve initially started in the show in season 1 talking about Maria Caparos, if you remember him. He continued his analysis and now he's uncovering this investigation. 1,000 people in Asia. It's a lot of people.
It's more, we scratched the surface and just a tip of the iceberg, and we found a literal complex of people scamming, extorting people at a very large scale.
The scale of this, I mean, financial loss, we're talking about 65 million this year, estimated.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. We are going to start analyzing the footage right away because there's a lot to unravel on this, all right? As you can see, the scammer operation describes in 8 buildings. It's 4 buildings are for apartments, 4 buildings are for scamming. 4 people per room in each building, 200 people per floor. That means 1,000 people in total in the middle of nowhere.
That's amazing, right? It's all built for the scammers. Well, the upper part of the scammers, and they contract people from all over, usually from North Africa, Southeast Asia, to come for a better lifestyle, to, inflict their, wrath, if you want to put it that way, on seamlessly helpless victims. And it's pretty sad what they do to these people.
Now, once you get into that place, you have to realize immediately you're not going to a good place. How do they keep their employees then?
Well, they keep their employees there by confiscating their passports where they can't leave. They give them room and board, food, water, and a telephone to, for the promise of making money. Most of these people, when they go there, they do not have any clue that they will be extorting people or poor people, poor helpless people for money for the exchange of, pictures and videos.
Send me your picture. I will send you the detailed salary and the location. You can go there exact time, 2:30, okay? Don't be late, and bring your all people, friends. How many you have? Brother, wait, okay? I need African, Indian, and Filipinos.
There's a portion of this where they promise them at the beginning a lot of, like a very high payment.
Yeah, and you're talking about the AEU where, it's pretty expensive to live there.
Yeah.
So attractive salary is something that they use. And I think like a base salary is like $500 to $800. But if you get 20 new victims, as you will see, you can make up to $5,000 to $6,000, which is a lot of money anyway.
It is a lot of money, right? And something really important about this is that they are making money out of this, but they're not making money for themselves. Usually these kinds of people that get there, they have families somewhere else, they have people to care for, and they have no other option than just to fall for this scam, to be a scammer.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's no fun when the rabbit has the gun. That's an old saying. And these people, they go for a better life and to get money to send back home, but they're barely making it themselves because the money that they do make, they have to send it back home. And the scammers just use them as basically, scam mules, if you want to call it, to help them do their bidding and will.
Right. Now, the keeping the passport and the violence that they experience inside these places, that's another level to it, because they sign a contract that says that they can keep their passports, but then the slavery portion starts and it's terrible.
There is a lot of different technicalities inside of the contracts that you see. Some of them are written in English and some parts are in Asian writing or Chinese, where you really can't understand the contract. So that's what dupes these people into not knowing, because they're a pawn in all of this. They have no idea that they're being used to do this. And the contract, if you can't read Chinese, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Exactly. Now, let us review the footage of the inside of the working space and some of the tactics that they're using, okay? We can appreciate what seems to be an office filled with computers. We can see the desktop of the scammers. There's an app that generates the phone portal that they use. And the scammer is using a VPN to select the country and the dating app to hunt for the victims. Now, once they find their victims, as you can see, they have documents with fake information, name, and they keep statistics like the people that they added, how many people or how many conversations were escalated into a sexual nature. And, initial messages for the apps, like openings, like, hey, I love your picture or something like that.
Absolutely. We saw over a 10-page, 15-page script, and it went from day 1 to day 8,
Right.
how they love bomb you, get you in their traps. And then you have to understand all of this is fake. They use models, they use exotic cars, money to get you excited about that. Who doesn't like money? Who doesn't like exotic cars and good looking women, right? So
Right.
a lot of people fall for that, and next thing you know, you're in a very, very tangled web of their doing.
Now, the part of using the models was a very interesting thing to me because, okay, you're a slave and you're behind a computer, you're hiding behind an identity, but then you have these models that they're showing their faces, they're creating content every day for these people to make money. It's not the best job in the world, and you're exposing yourself to a lot of crimes as well.
A lot of different crimes. You're talking about money laundering, fraud, embezzlement, misappropriation of imagery as well,
Right.
false promises of investments as well. And kind of like in our last season where we talked about Maria, she was using pre-recorded information and videos. These people actually find models that do not want to go into other industries that are a little bit on the darker side. When they come into this thinking they're just all on the up and up.
Right.
And it's basically the same thing they would be doing if they would do something else on the dark side. But these models they're beautiful, they're pretty, and it gets the job done. Let's say it like that.
Now let's discuss the demographics of the targets that these Asians have, because Nigerians, we do know that they have their categorization, right? Sextortion for a certain amount of people or certain ages of people, Roman scams for certain ages. Asians are different. They're targeting everything for everybody.
They look for people who pretty much have money because they're attracting people with, money, cars, and models. They look for you and then they get you to invest in a app to make more money, too good to be true. And by the time you really realize that you've been duped and you've been taken for, they're in a whole other country, so your local law enforcement can't do anything for you. The FBI have too much on their plate, so you definitely need a company like us to, if you unfortunately does come around to you, you have a company like us to help you out find these people.
And the Analyst Lab specifically has targeted a lot of Asian scammers from, we have China, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Now, what did this company offer the people in order to, what positions do they offer?
In those countries, they're very tech savvy.
Right.
So they look for people who have marketing skills. They look for people who are recruiters, managers, sales departments, tech guys, engineers, videographers, anything they can get their hands on to make their outfit seem and look real. They do anything a real company or a Fortune 500 company would do. They at no expense, they do spend the money to get the best of the best to run these scams.
I do wonder if these guys that are not the scammers, the ones that keep the operation going, the IT guys, the managers, are they slaves too?
Well, that's a good question. We feel that the people that they immigrate in are on the lower scale. They actually think in the sense that this is real and they bring something good, but they have no idea there's a black hand on top of that is really actually controlling everything. But their bonus structure, they entice you with a lot of different things when you have no other out and no education, where this is just so easy to fall into.
Definitely. Now, it's time to really think about what's going on with sextortion in the world, because there's a lot of people still, there's a very big percentage of people and victims who believe that these scammers are just one person in a living room just using their cell phone very innocently. And this really portrays, this is the best example that we have found that this is a large scale operation. There's 1,000 people in the middle of nowhere scamming people.
And they're in the middle of the desert. They even have their own communications tower.
Right.
That they're communicating with these people where you would think the government would find out, but you know, they're just out there in the middle of the desert where nobody wants to go.
Now let's talk about handling sextortion. What can you recommend everyone at home to keep safe?
If it seems like it's too good to be true, the best case scenario is just shut down that communication with those people, leave it alone, and report it. Don't pay them any money. Documentate everything as well. Increase your security. Double verify all your accounts.
For these types of cases, I mean, we've seen that it takes years, 1-2 years to catch a perpetrator. We catch the guys almost immediately.
Yeah, we have services where 7 days all the way to while we're typically on the phone with you. So we have different service levels just depending on how fast we need to start an investigation or how dire the situation is.
Right.
So we'll recommend it. So this all just depends on how fast you need us to start an investigation, how fast you need our investigators to get their boots on the ground and to, find, locate, and, rectify the situation.
Fantastic. An analyst like you, could you tell the audience what would they get if they get to call you?
Well, when you call us, you will get an initial strategy, a game plan of how we're going to approach the scammers because we don't want to just scare them away. Secondly, we'll use IP tracking to find their exact geolocation, device information, things of that nature. Autonomy is key. So while we're tracking and finding out who they are, where they are, they don't know that you hired us to do so. So that's a key opponent in our strategy as well. Autonomy, content deletion, making sure that we can wipe the web of your existence of this happening to you to keep everything under wrap as well. We can make a one-page counter strike against these people, finding out their information, using it against them to let everyone know that they are criminal, they are a scammer. Please stay away from them as far as you can. The bottom line is we have a very, very high success rate, north of 95%. So 9.5 times out of 10, we can find who they are, where they are, and put a step to it.
First of all, I want to thank you a lot for bringing not only this topic to the table, but to come here and talk about it so openly. So thank you very much for that.
Digitalforensics.com. Reach out for inquiries, questions, concerns you might have. Any one of my guys and girls will be able to help you out.
Let me remind you the phone number as well, 800-849-6515. My name is Milo Brooks. This is Steve Gutierrez, and this was Digital Defenders. I'll see you in the next video.